Okay, we're live. We're good. Why do I say live? We're never
Hi.
live. Hello, welcome to Jonathan's podcast, Papaya Podcast.
The
There's no
recording is
papaya.
live.
Yeah, the recording is live. Hello, Martin. This is Martin Nguyen.
Hi.
We've been friends for, I guess, going on 3 years now. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Probably. Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
pretty close. I mean, it's more or
Yeah.
less. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known him since my freshman year. He's a junior now. He's a super senior. But yeah, I'll let him introduce himself a little bit.
All right, great. Well, howdy, y'all. I'm Martin. I am a super senior. So that means I'm on my 6th year. So if you see me around campus, which you won't because of the pandemic, you know, I'll generally have like facial hair. I'll be looking scruffy. Yeah. A little bit about me. I am, if you can tell, I'm Vietnamese, hence the last name Nguyen. Um, and yeah, I've known Jonathan for about a couple years now. We met in IV, obviously. Well, maybe that part's not too obvious, but we met through IV. And
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of attending Jonathan's small groups and really seeing him like grow into
That
like,
wasn't my small group.
no, but you had, it was the first year we met.
Victoria's and Bernice.
Yeah, but then you became a small group leader the next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I had the pleasure of, watching you kind of grow and then like take responsibility and become a leader. And then it's like, you're this kind of hot shot around IV, but you're also still like weird, grabbing people inappropriate.
Oh, Market. Oh, I guess we'll leave that in.
So yeah. I mean, you can cut it if you want. It's
I'm
been
leaving it in.
You're leaving it in? All right. The people that are watching, I'm sure they already know about you. So
they already know about you. Oh my God.
Politest way I can say it. But I say this all with affection, of course. I really treasure our friendship, and I really value our time together and all of the lessons that I've been able to learn from you. Even though I'm a super senior and I'm like super old, my knees are breaking down and whatnot, I still like learn quite a bit from like you, from Victoria, from the rest of our IV cohort, just because I myself am not like very experienced in a lot of things. So it's always interesting to hear people's life stories and learn about their experiences and kind of integrate with my own experiences, like see how I would react, see how I would interact, yada yada. So that's a little bit about me. Sorry for the rant.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I as a super. Did you like that?
Yeah.
As a super senior, it's been a journey. It wasn't. Oh, you want to jump into that?
Oh no, sorry. You were just coming like in and out on the audio. Okay, we cut. We're back. Oh man, that's really. Man, your intro. It makes you feel like like a dad. Like, oh, I've seen him grow up. Oh, I was like, oh, yikes. Not that old, Martin.
I mean, we've done a lot of growing, I think, in the past
Oh,
couple of years.
yeah,
I would definitely
yes,
say so.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You know, some people go through college, and they're not fortunate to have like those experiences that really help them grow. I think IV was like a really good catalyst for growth. Between you and I, you know. I don't know about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, well, okay. Cool. Well, since we're on IV, keep
Yeah.
talking about IV then.
Oh yeah, yeah. You want me to jump into it?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, well, we said a little bit about how, or yeah, we initially met,
hmm.
but
Okay, yeah. I guess we could jump into that actually. The so Jonathan mentioned it a little bit earlier to those of you just tuning in. Um yeah, yeah. um I joined IV and I met Jonathan in Victoria and Bernice's small group. Now, you guys might know Bernice. Victoria is a little bit of an older IV member. She hasn't been as active as she wants to be just because she's been busy. But I originally got into IV actually because of Victoria. We are friends in summer school, and she's like, "Hey, I'm doing this intervarsity thing." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, cool. I like sports." And then I head there, and it was not really sports, not really. uh, but you know, it was a bunch of people. It was definitely not something I expected because I was expecting like some sort of sports club. I'm not very sportsy myself, but in
I
any
don't know about that.
I'm sportsy in the sense that I get injured a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can't deny that.
yeah. Oh,
um, but yeah, so that was my introduction into IV was through a friend, and I honestly feel like that's how a lot of people get introduced to IV. There's a lot of there's a lot of friend groups I've noticed within IV. There's the Fort Bend FBCC, right? There's
mm-hmm.
that whole crew. Um, then there's
Yeah.
like a couple of other church groups in there, but the point is that I think um, like friends bring friends to IV. That's how it grew. That's how I got into it, and I think that's generally how like a lot of people get into it. I mean, you guys do go to Cat's Back and advertise like that, but my introduction was through friends, and I mean, my life has changed since joining IV for the better, I would say. Um, Learned a lot, grew a lot, and found myself a community of friends. Um, Jonathan being one of them that I very I look forward to and like relish a lot. So that's kind of my summary of my experience in IV. I myself am not actually Christian though, which is it could be shocking to some of y'all. But certainly like you wouldn't expect like a non-Christian to be in intervarsity, considering that it's based around and centered on the exploration and delving into of the Bible. Um, and so you might think that might have scared me off after my first experience with IV, but I'm still here. I'm still talking with Jonathan, and um, despite despite not being Christian, I mean, I haven't been as active as I've wanted to be in the past year or so, just because I've gotten busy with other extracurriculars. But I've stayed yeah, for about 3 years now, I would say.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Hmm.
I didn't know that was how you came to Ivy.
Yeah,
Summer
yeah.
school with Victoria.
Yeah, we were both
Okay.
studying well, we were both in poli sci, right? We were trying to get those credits. And,
Okay.
yeah. He's just super chill and super easy to talk to. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess we're friends now.
What are friends? Yikes.
Why
But
are we
yeah.
friends? You and I?
Oh man.
I can give you, you know what, maybe I have to think about it. Why we're friends.
Oh, well, let's just assume we're friends, at least until the podcast is over. Let's just get the podcast. But yeah, the part of your story that you ended on, that you being not Christian, but
Yeah.
still finding like a community here, been really interesting. But it's also like you didn't mention this per se, but like
Hmm.
you have like read the Bible and like tried to engage and have conversations with other people about like the Bible.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I mean it is like a social group on one hand, like, but that's only part of it.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's really cool to see that. Yeah, it's definitely like, I feel like your story be encouraging to other, non-Christian folks. Like, I can still hang out and be friends until the end of the podcast,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
um,
Until the end of yeah.
yeah. Oh well. Dude. I was just, I was like, we should advertise Martin. And it's like, hey, you should,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's people like Martin. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I do find the discussions about like the Bible and theology, I do find them to be very interesting and thought provoking. You know, that's so part of the reason why I stay in IV is because of the community. You're right, like but it's not just a social, group. It's a group dedicated to like growing in spirituality, discussing your experiences and supporting each other, in the pursuit of Christ. Um, and so part of the reason why I stayed in IV was the community. It was my friends, it was the social events, it was all the get-togethers and the after hours, all of those like really fun things. But the thing is, those experiences aren't exclusive to InterVarsity. Like other organizations do social events, and other organizations have great communities. The thing that really sets InterVarsity apart is really being able to talk and explore your faith, and really be able to expand upon it and find similar or different experiences with other people, and really like get a very diverse perspective on life and on faith. um I think it's always like a good idea to learn about like different faiths, different perspectives, different ideas, and try to either integrate or reject those ideas. You know what I mean? Like integrate them into your own life, take what you learn from it, learn from other people, and try to improve yourself. We
mhm.
talked about it a little bit earlier, like growing. I've seen you grow, you've seen me grow. And part of this growth is spurred on by different ideas and different perspectives, from other people, from the people around you. Um, and so I always think it's very interesting and productive, very fruitful to have these discussions, to think about and to try to analyze and find deeper meaning um, within the texts and within the conversations that you have with people and within the mentorships. I think it's very growth oriented, which is what I'm all about, honestly. Trying to grow and trying to become the best me I can be. I mean, that sounds kind of cliche, sounds kind of cheesy, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's real.
Yeah, for
That's,
sure.
you're like you're like the model college dude. Wow, I'm a pursuer of knowledge. I
Oh.
want to be the best version of. Why am I talking like this? Um, but yeah, I think that's an awesome mindset to have. But I don't know. It also feel like there's a plenty of college people that don't come in
Mm,
that kind of mindset. And like
mm,
you don't necessarily have to, like no one's forcing. It's like
mm.
I guess it's a shame if you don't. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, to those people who come in without that mindset, and to be clear, we're talking about like the mindset of wanting to grow and wanting to learn and like take in others' experience. To them, I would say like, don't, yeah, you're exactly right. Don't feel pressured to like try and have to learn. Don't feel pressured to. Growth happens when you allow it to happen. And that sounds kind of like circular law. It's like duh, but right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the idea is that you can't force someone to grow. Like you as a person can't force someone else to grow. You can give them all of the advice you
Right.
want. You can try and guide them, but unless they're receptive to it, unless they allow you to affect their lives, then like any growth they make is going to be insignificant. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so to the people that are like intimidated by joining a Christian group, even if they're not Christian, to the people that join the without the goal of growing, I would say like don't worry about it. Like don't feel pressured to grow. Don't feel pressured to change. It'll occur when it occurs, and that happens. You meet the right people. You surround yourself with the right group of friends, and I believe you can grow that way. Jonathan and we talked about this a little bit a long time ago. Well, not a long time, a week ago. Right. Hey, a week can feel pretty long, especially in this pandemic, dude. Oh, the days have been running together. Like we we talked about like the people who you surround yourself with, they like you kind of take on their characteristics, you take on their ideas, their perspectives, and that you're the average of like your group of people, you know. And so if you surround yourself with people who are growth oriented, who are open to new ideas, who are respective of different perspectives, I mean, you'll soon find yourself within that same company, you know. So to those people, I'd say don't feel pressured to just focus on like finding a place of belonging, finding a community, feeling comfortable. Um, and then that's when the growth happens. So.
Well said, Martin. Well said.
I appreciate. Yeah, I mean, I've certainly learned a lot from you guys, from IV. Um, in fact, actually, I was talking with Bea. Um, Bea, for those of you who don't know, is my girlfriend. I was actually talking with her. One of the things that fascinates me the most about well, Christianity is like the seven deadly sins, right? I think that's a topic that fascinates a lot of people because they're like, oh my gosh, you know, wrath, gluttony, sloth, you know. um,
Yeah.
and they're thinking about, you know, Christians and non-Christians alike. Um, the topic of seven deadly sins has been in like popular culture for quite a while now. Like there's TV shows where they show. I'm thinking of, if you guys know, if you know it, Jonathan, if you know Full Metal Alchemist, they have yeah, okay, so they have personifications of the seven deadly sins as the main antagonists of the show. With sloth being like this really sleepy evil guy, gluttony being this really hungry evil guy. Basically, the common thread is they're all evil.
Yes.
But you know, that's an example of Christianity in a well, in a secular kind of setting. You know, they're not discussing like theology. They're just like, these are the personifications of the seven deadly sins. Likewise, you hear about the seven deadly sins in like scripture as well. Um, and so I was just back to my story. Yeah, I was discussing with Maya. I was like, so I'm actually Buddhist. And so my understanding of sin and my understanding of um, the world and like what our duty is a little bit different. It's a bit of a different perspective than like the Christian perspective. So I'll give you a little bit of context as to, just to prime you guys, what I was thinking about and how I got there, and then I'll kind of give you the the summary of what Bay and I talked about. So the context is, uh, I was reading like I was reading some like critique on like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was reading some critique on some show. It might not have been Avatar, but the critique was that the villains were so one-dimensional and that they were evil just to be evil. And so I thought to myself, well, if I were to write a villain, I would want to make them like believable, relatable. And so I got to thinking about like, why do, and I'll tie this to like seven deadly sins in a little bit, but just bear with me. It's a bit of a roundabout story. But I thought, you know, why are evil people like the way that they are? Why does this person want to like destroy the world? Da 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 da, blah blah blah. And so, long story short, I came to the conclusion that like the villains that are most wrathful, the ones who just want to destroy everything, like that anger, that wrath is tied, it can be tied to like love, in the sense that, I mean, you hear these origin stories all the time. This person like had a loved one, or like loved their family, and then they lost their loved one, or they lost their family, and then they take that anger within them, and then they like channel it into like a destructive purpose, you know. But that anger like is juxtaposed by how much they love someone or love something, and the resulting, or in the subsequent loss of that love leads to like a proportional amount of anger. You know what I mean? Like if you don't love something that much and you lose it, you're like, it's whatever. But if you like lost your dog, you know, you'd be really torn up about it. So I started trying to connect these little threads. Like love can lead to wrath, you know. And so I was thinking, all right, well, if that's wrath, what could be kind of like the opposites of like greed, of envy, of sloth, you know? So I was thinking about that for a little while, and for greed, I came up with the idea that like, well, actually, this was Bea. but she suggested that greed comes from the need to provide. So picture that you are a father or a mother and you want to provide for your children. And now imagine that you don't have enough to provide, but like there's a way that you can get more than you need to provide. I think in that sense, like it's a corrupted form of the need to provide that can lead to greed. Does that make sense, Jonathan? Like in a
Okay.
in a in a like a literature sense, you know. Um, so I was thinking about like kind of these opposites and kind of the causes of these like seven deadly sins. And there were some that I just couldn't wrap my head around. I couldn't understand um, why these sins were sins. Like I was like, okay, I can see how wrath negatively impacts the world. Like when you're wrathful, you lash out and you hurt people. When you're greedy, you take all that you can and you leave none for anyone else. But like I couldn't wrap my head around like how sloth um, negatively impacted the world, or how like envy negatively impacted the world, or I can see how pride would, but like there were some that I just couldn't wrap my head around. So I asked Bea, I say, I can see how wrath increases suffering of the world. I can see how greed increases suffering of the world, but I don't see how these other ones increase suffering of the world. And she points out to me, she's like, well, these seven deadly sins are sins not because they necessarily increase suffering in the world, but because they stand in the way of like doing your duty to God, which is spreading the word and like glorifying God. And that's when the light bulb clicked on. I was like, oh, okay. So these sins, they're sins because it's not about like increasing suffering of the world. That may or may not happen with each individual sin, but it's about like your own ability to really glorify God and spread the word. And you're a small group leader, Jonathan. So I was just thinking, what do you make of like that interpretation? Because my interpretation of like these sins, my understanding of sin, like from a Buddhist perspective, is like, does it increase suffering in the world? Bea's understanding of sin is like it impacts your ability to glorify God and spread His message. You know, so that's what I was thinking about, and like I'm wondering what you think about it too, just like your perspective on it.
Okay. That was a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
So no, that's fine. Um, so sin. I think most people who grow up in the church would traditionally say it's like something that is displeasing to God, that is not part of His law. Um, so yeah, I guess like that would be, I guess like the easy way to say like all the seven deadly sins would be unlawful, just because like God said so.
Mm.
Um, yeah, a lot of things you said. The things those are okay. Sorry, am I
Yeah, no,
still answering? I'm like, am I still answering your question? Are you just asking like what are my thoughts
yeah,
about
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. That was interesting in the beginning when you were talking about how like love can lead to wrath. Um, yeah, because I was like, I could see where your line of logic is. I'm just like wondering to myself out loud, like, um, in Christianity, and I think maybe other people could agree too that there's like different kinds of love.
That's true.
I don't know if I'm gonna remember all of them off the top of my head, but
There's like love
there's
for humanity, like love for or romantic love, and then like platonic love. Uh,
yeah, and then
yeah.
love for God,
Hmm.
basically. Okay, well, I guess I won't. I won't try the Roman. Is it Roman or Greek?
I
Maybe?
thought it was Greek because
Greek,
there's like
Greek,
arrow.
Greek. Yes,
Yeah.
it's Greek. Eros, phileo,
Yeah.
agape.
Yeah. All you human sit people out there.
I mean, we never talked about it. Even
No, yeah, they just like gave it to us and then didn't touch it the
oh,
rest of it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay, I have other questions, but that's straying more off topic.
Yeah.
So in my mind, like when there's like love that leads to wrath, there's like a clear lack of like that agape
Mm.
love, I guess. And it just makes me there's so many random tangents.
Yeah, okay.
Uh that's so weird. I don't know, I guess we'll just keep talking and see what happens.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need it.
I just think about like how like finite and limited like one's love can be, I guess. Like I think in your example, when like love turns into wrath, it's like it's clearly revenge, right?
Yeah.
And like it's just that like cycle of revenge that like never ends,
Right.
and like destruction or anything of destructive nature like doesn't necessarily have an end. I guess until everything's destroyed.
Yeah.
But then like you compare that to the opposite side of that. It's like without a god, I guess, or the god for Christians, like there's no opposite to that if there is no God.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Um, so how should I rephrase? So if you like bringing up like kind of like the dualistic thinking about like the different seven deadly sins,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't. You didn't say this in particularly, but I just kind of assumed
Mm-hmm.
maybe that you were one of the qualifications is looking for like an equal and opposite sort of force.
It was more of like like they can be equal and opposite, but it was more of like what could lead to
Okay.
rather than
Let's see.
yeah.
This just feels like Plato. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so. No. Oh, no. Oh gosh. That was terrible. Human sin. Okay, we keep bringing up human sin, so I guess we eventually have to talk about it.
Yeah. Our viewers
Um.
what's human fit?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Well then, yeah. I guess we don't necessarily have to talk about duality of reality or whatever.
I guess that'd be a topic for another because that's something that we'd probably have to delve kind of deep into, right?
Yeah, and I feel like I would have to reread Plato and do more research.
No, that's yeah.
But it's an interesting thing. Um, what was the other thing? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, you were saying like for Buddhists, like sin is like suffering.
Yeah, it like
Innocent.
increases suffering in the world. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so because like I'm trying to think about the two sins you said that were like they don't increase suffering. It
Or
was
that
like
like
sloth and
yeah, it's like hard for me to see sloth
so,
and like envy and
envy. Oh, okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the end goal of like for Buddhists is like complete detachment and like enlightenment. I
yeah.
don't. Okay.
No, you got
Okay. So I don't know. I can see like I mean envy to me is like pretty clear. If like your end goal is like complete detachment, you shouldn't want something
to
else.
be
I mean, I guess you could envy someone's like nirvana or whatever, but like but I guess well, that inherently like
yeah, that's
would keep you from it yourself.
yeah, in an ironic sense.
Yeah. And then I don't know, sloths. I don't know. That was like slightly more difficult, but like I don't know. Too much rest? I don't know. I have to think about it more.
Yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
sprung it on you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's intellectually stimulating. But yeah. I mean, yeah. But it's cool. It's cool. I think those are my thoughts right now.
Okay.
It's a really interesting thing. Oh, that's so funny. It's so this all started from like a critique of possibly Avatar last name.
uh no, Avatar I think has like pretty well developed villains. I said the first like anime that came into mind just because I've been watching.
Oh,
But it was a
oh,
critique of like some show. It was a critique about like one-dimensional villains. And I thought, well, how would I write villains, you know? I'd like to make them relatable. I'd like to give them a reason why they're evil, aside from just being evil, you know?
interesting. I look forward to your story.
Yeah, keep an eye out for it. It'll come 2030. Yeah.
2030. Okay. In a decade, I'll check in with you. Oh man, wow, that's gonna be a masterpiece.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, just like your mastery in dancing.
Oh. So, for those of you who don't know, I dance in the loosest sense of the word. If moving to music counts as dancing, then I am a dancer.
Yeah, I mean,
It
you
is,
don't.
right? I guess.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay, so
People can have different opinions about what good or bad dancing.
yeah,
You're
that's fair.
still you like you've had people teach you stuff, right?
I did. I don't know where it went, but
Yeah.
um, no. The reason why I don't really consider myself like very good is just because I mean I've met so many incredible like dancers and so many creative and talented people, and it's just like, what are you doing? How do you even hear this? You know?
Yeah.
And then I'll try and do some moves, and then they'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know." That being said,
Yeah.
like I enjoy it, and I like any chance I can get, you know. it doesn't really matter if I embarrass myself. I mean, I agree with you completely that dancing is just moving to the music, but not a lot of people, especially in the dance community, would like consider like simply moving to be dance. I'm completely in agreement with you here because I'm bad. Like I'm really bad. So I'm like, hey guys, look, I'm dancing. Whoa. And then, but I guess that also is part of the reason why I don't like why I'm not so embarrassed when I do like goof off to music or whatever. Because for me, it is about having fun. But for some people, it's about like structure. It's about technique. It's about musicality. It's about those things. I mean, you can move to music, but you don't necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean you move to it like on the right spots, on the right sounds, on the right timings. So guilty of all of that. That being said, yeah, uh, I guess that so um, my approach to dance is also my approach to IV, in the sense that it's something new to try, and it's something to enjoy rather than be so rigorous. You know what I mean? Um, like I I hadn't even considered joining like a Christian organization when I entered college, but I thought, why not try it? Um, when Victoria invited me to Intervarsity. Um, and same goes for dancing. I never envisioned myself dancing of any kind at all in college. The only dance I did was like on a dance pad for a game Dance Revolution.
Oh wow. Wow.
But the idea is that, try something that you're not super comfortable with. Like even this podcast, like I was nervous coming into it. I was thinking about, should I like come up with things to say? Should I like make a script?
Just read it straight.
Yes. Hello, my name is Martin Nguyen.
Oh my
Yeah, I mean, um, so my approach to experiences, I guess. I don't want to say things because things is too general. My approach to experiences is to try it, and try something that you may or may not be comfortable with. Like get out of your comfort zone. And if you don't like it, then it doesn't hurt to like. There's no loss.
Hmm.
You know.
It's a very well said Gen Z millennial thing. We're here for the experiences.
I mean,
But no, yeah,
some
I totally.
people may have different. Huh? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I totally relate with
Oh, okay.
the idea of going for experiences. Like, you got one life to live.
Like you're doing this podcast, it's a new sort of thing for you. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
yeah. And like, how's your experience of it so far? I'm doing the interview.
Wow, nice, dude. Let me just mark down that transition. Oh my goodness, super smooth. It's good. Um, it's been fun just talking, um, talking with a purpose.
Hmm.
To really get at different ideas. Um, a, a lot of times also different stories.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah. In the beginning, I mean, we didn't do the immigration story, but like that was something I was interested to hear about, like other immigrant families as well.
Mhm.
And so it's been really, I guess, a pleasure to host all these people and be able to talk to them with
Mhm.
my low tech setup. um, yeah, but like on the ideas parts, like uh, I think there's stuff definitely like still a lot of room to grow in like being able to engage with these ideas or with
Mhm.
different ideas. Um, and I've like we've talked about it. Like I've seen, or we've been talking about it in the podcast. Like to talk about more complicated things would require a lot more research and
Mhm.
pseudo expertise, or actually talking to an expert
Mhm.
about something. Um, but yeah, I've just um, found it to be fun and a
Yeah.
learning experience to be able to talk to my peers about how they've seen life through
Mhm.
different lenses. Yeah.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
really gives you like a diverse like range of ideas, right?
Sort of. I mean, I'm still very much like in a bubble. I mean, you can
Okay.
look at my demographic, right?
Most,
Uh,
yeah. What's your demographic?
it's
Like
basically
99, 100% Asian?
100% Asian. I mean, this can change, but
Yeah, yeah.
part of why I made the podcast was to talk about Asian American things.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to talk to Asian Americans to talk about that. Um, but I can definitely see myself either,
Branching out.
yeah, branching out from that. That's a good one. I mean, I just want to talk in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, like I think it's cool talking to you because you're the first non-Christian
Hmm.
I'm talking to. Yes. And like this was never intended to be like a religious podcast. It was just like a place to talk about anything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's uh, yeah, nothing's off limits per se. Although I have said some things are off limits some other
Yeah.
things. But
They're more like personal stuff.
well, it's like it's like what is actually like fruitful to discuss.
Mhm.
So like yeah, just having that 15 almost 20 minute like discussion slash hearing you out like about like the seven deadly sins from you, even though there's like still so much like deeper we can go into that.
Yeah.
That's definitely you know a conversation I wouldn't be able to have otherwise normally.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Sure.
I'm glad you got something out of it. It never occurred to me like how common, or I guess uncommon, like the perception on sin is. Well, at least in Intervarsity, right? Like this was kind of the first time you're hearing about like kind of the Buddhist perspective on like the suffering of the world in connection to sin. Um, and like for me, like I've always like lived with that, and so for me it was like a common kind of perspective. Like it was shocking to me when Bea said like the Christian perspective on sin is like, yeah, it's like it's against the law that God said, and it also like prevents you from doing your duty to God, like from glorifying God and spreading his message. And for me that was so shocking because I I hadn't considered how like common that perspective was amongst, I mean, yeah, it has to be the common perspective on sin amongst the Christian community. But yeah, I'm glad you got to see a little bit into like my perspective on sin, you know. I'm glad you got something out of that. I didn't know if I was talking too much or if I was getting too sidetracked. Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think I mean, we've had many discussions before, and like I think normally when we talk, it goes like a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we always joke with the human sins coming into play. Um, yeah, since I bring
Started
it
pulling
up,
out in Greek.
let's talk about it. Human sit, I guess the honors college.
Oh, yeah,
Buff
sure.
in it. Yeah. um, yeah. You can speak about it first.
Sure, yeah,
You
yeah.
are the guest.
I mean, you're the host. You know, human sit for me. Well, first off, my human sit is a smaller aspect of the larger honors college. And my experience with the honors college in general has been very positive. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the people in there. I mean, you might start picking this up as a common thread, but I enjoy like the communities that I am exposed to, that I get involved in, and I really enjoyed the people in the honors college. Um, so a little bit of background info as far as my involvement with the honors college. So for those of you who aren't students at U of H, we have an honors college that is focused on I got this. It's
Oh
focused
God.
on exploring like um anthropology in the sense, well, exploring how like ancient, well, not necessarily ancient, but like how philosophical ideals work their way into modern society. At least that's how I think the honors college is set up. We do discuss, Jonathan mentioned it earlier, he discussed Plato, he discussed like the Greek roots of the different types of love. And that's not the honors college in its entirety, but the honors college does incorporate like these philosophical ideals in their teachings. Like there's a medical honors college called Medicine and Society, and like kind of the interactions and nuances that philosophy plays in soon to be doctors, you know. um, and so the honors college, well, first off, it's not as prestigious as it sounds.
What?
Okay.
My dad loves saying I am in the honors college.
I mean, so the thing about the honors college is that if you're in a STEM major, it doesn't really impact like your chances, I guess, with recruiters if you're looking for job opportunities. Like you can put honors college in all caps in like 36-point font on your resume, and the recruiter will like just glance right past it. They'll go straight to your job experiences, your GPA, and your projects and your extracurriculars. Honors college, if you are going to join the honors college, you join it not for career opportunities, but you join it for the community, for connections, for the people there, the experiences that you will the experiences that you will experience. But yeah, the honors college, so that's my experience. I'm a STEM major. I'm studying chemical engineering, and so there's no I mean, there's honors introduction to engineering, uh, but aside from that, there's not a lot of um, there's not a lot of crossover between the honors college and engineering. And your results may vary. You can certainly go looking for it, but it's not it's not a lot of it's not very impactful, I would say, for a STEM major, but it is still impactful on you as a person, on you as an individual, not necessarily career wise if you're a STEM major. My experience with the honors college, so I got into the honors college. um, well, I thought it would be interesting to join. I thought it would be a challenge to join, and I thought it would challenge me, help me grow. Um, but on top of that, I was also involved in an extracurricular that grew out of the honors college called the Bonner Leaders Program. Now, the Bonner Leaders Program, the mission statement was to alleviate the effects of your socioeconomic status, alleviate those effects, um, like lessen the impact basically on your education, on your quality of education. So what does that mean? Um, that means like if, for example, you're born into like a poor neighborhood, well, schools, public schools, they get their funding from the surrounding neighborhoods, right? If you're born into a poor neighborhood, then the idea is that your school is poorly funded. And if it's poorly funded, then you have less access to opportunities that could potentially get you out of your socioeconomic status. Um, and so if you don't have as many opportunities, you're less likely to be successful. So you pick up a job like coming right out of high school, you pick out a job that's not like it's not enough to live on. And so now you live like in a poorer neighborhood and you raise children in a poor neighborhood. And so the cycle starts all over again, but for your children. The mission statement of the Bonner Leaders Program is to lessen that impact. So I was involved in that in my freshman and sophomore year, and that grew out of the honors college. And it also dictated a lot of my interactions with the honors college, because a lot of the people that were in Bonner, they were also in the honors college, and we would, talk and interact, and I would see them in my classes. And like some of the professors in the honors college were also sponsors of the Bonner Leaders Program. So I got to get closer to the professors in that sense as well. Now the honors college, I would say, is a lot of fun. It's a lot of really great people, a lot of really great professors. And you can also look at, like, if you're thinking about going into the honors college, you can look at explicitly like what the benefits are. If you just Google honors college and kind of look around on the web, but there's something implicit. There's something that you have to really experience the honors college to understand. And it is that sense of like familiarity and closeness with your peers. It doesn't even matter if you're in an extracurricular or not. Your classes are tiny in the honors college, except for human sit, but your classes tend to be a lot smaller, and you tend to, if you don't change your major, you tend to have the same classmates year in, year out. And that does wonders for your social life, your friend group. And yeah, like there's people that I still talk to that I met in the honors college, and we've been on different paths. We haven't seen each other for a while because our classes don't online anymore, but there's still some of my friends who I'd consider like close to me that I met in the honors college. So any advice that I would give for the honors college is, it's not like join it or don't join it. It's really consider what you're looking for in the college experience. And if the honors college aligns with that, then I think it would be best if you did go to the honors college, if it aligns with what you're looking for in your college experience. Of course, I haven't talked in depth about my experience with the honors college, but I'm sure like Jonathan, he's been a lot more involved in the honors college, even now. So I'm sure you've got a lot more stories to tell. Yeah, you do.
No. Where is this assumption coming from? I'm a terrible
Oh.
honors student.
Well, you and me both, I suppose.
Oh, this Bonner thing? I feel like I should know what this is, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so that actually surprises me. They were like kind of a big kind of a big deal.
Probably seen it. I just didn't
Hmm.
care.
Well, yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, so honors human sit. So human sit is short for human situations. Yeah, we look at the human situation through literature,
Mm.
from antiquity into modernity.
Oh man. Jonathan, for our non-honors college viewers.
Yeah, so antiquity is it basically, what was the earliest text? I think it was like all text from like before zero.
Oh, like before 0 BC.
BC.
I
Yeah. Is it? They're really old.
yeah. Yeah, we're talking about works by Plato or so.
It's for sure before the 11th century.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like modernity, there'd be things from like Shakespeare.
Hmm.
I should know some. Oh, there's some popular religious works. Like we read Augustus.
Hmm.
And then there's some like really modern stuff within even this current century, but
Hmm.
stuff from like the 20th century
Yeah.
is very common. Um, yeah, that's antiquity and modernity.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my honors college experience. Oh, something I was thinking about while you were talking. Another benefit for joining the honors college is a very what's the word, fiscal one. You can get scholarships.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
There's the tier one scholar. Get a
Mhm.
full ride. Um, that's only your tuition, of course.
Mhm.
Just to be clear.
There's also like the general honors color honors college.
Right. Yeah, and I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's an interesting thing. I'm glad they're kind of cracking down on it, but I'm kind of, I don't know. So those honors scholarships, they're like lower in amount, like compared to the tier one. It's
I mean, tier one is a full ride.
yeah. But I mean, it's you should expect like, I don't know, 1,000 to maybe a couple, maybe even 3,000. I don't know. I I can only speak for myself. What do I care about the number? Okay, I got 1,500 a year for
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
750 a semester. Um, it's like it's really easy if you're in honors. Like you definitely should apply for this scholarship. They basically give it to everybody. Well, okay, I should not say that. I was like, wait, oh no, did Martin not get it? Oh,
I got a different scholarship. I got a Bonner.
okay,
So,
okay, cool.
yeah.
I was like, well, not everybody gets it now.
Yeah, it's like it's gone
Okay,
off silent over here.
yikes. Yeah, I don't know what they look at, but uh, you have to write a thank you letter. I mean, I guess it's a good gesture. It's that's a good thing to do in life. Now that I think about it.
It really is. So being grateful and expressing that gratitude is just like a little.
Yeah, it's just so weird when you write. You're literally writing to this like entity. Like you know what its name is, but you'll never talk to anybody from it. Probably. Like there's no representative like giving you a handshake. Like there's no person.
Uh,
To,
you just write
yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
you get like your scholarship.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit more. I mean, I'm sure you know. Like, yeah, there's these things called GCFs or Grand Challenge Forums. You have to attend like 5 of these each semester, and they're basically 1 hour lectures on Fridays from 12 to 1, um, where the Honors College invites speakers
Yes.
from, yeah, either the college, but normally it's from outside the college. Yeah, some of them can be pretty prestigious, so it's pretty cool. And like, I think you don't even have to have the scholarship to go. I hope that would make sense. But yeah, and so the GCFs are such a joke, though. I mean, it's like it's reputable. I love the work that they're doing. I think it's really good for the people who care. But like, there's so many people that don't care.
They're in there.
Like, I'm sure you've heard about it, but like, you used to just be able to walk. So there's like the GCFs are done in this auditorium that's like 2 stories tall, and you like enter in from the first floor, but there's an exit on the second floor, right? Yeah. So students would literally sign in through the bottom floor, walk all the way upstairs to the second floor, and just leave. No one's watching it. No, they don't like chase after you and like get back in here.
Yeah.
People just leave.
This is the prestigious honors college kids. You know, this is like the manifestation of their intellect.
They started to wisen up though. They're like, you don't get attendance credit unless you sign out.
Oh.
So now, like, I mean, technically you can leave and come back, but like, obviously that's a lot more of a nuisance than like just leave. And to be completely transparent, I think 95% of them I've walked out on. I've stayed for 2 or 3 maybe.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
So I take it back. Jonathan is not a very good honors college student.
I am not. I was like, oh, I'm gonna destroy this image. But okay, I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but there's a lot of people that.
I always felt bad for like the lecturer if I left. So I would stay, and like there would be some interesting topics, you know.
Yeah, they're really interesting most of the time.
Is that what
sometimes,
you thought? Walking out the door?
One of the ones I stayed for, like I was like, this guy, like, he sucked at speaking, and I was just like, please, when is this over? Oh, like, which is, but that's like rare, like, but like it's really cool. Like one of the ones I went to, this might be boring to some people, but it talked about like the Constitution, and they gave me a pocket Constitution. I still have it. So if you need to know your rights, I can pull it out. And then there was one where there was a promoting a play or something,
Mm.
like, and they had dance. So
Oh,
like they would actually there was dancers and they were actually dancing on the bottom floor, and it was like that was pretty cool. And there
yeah,
was
that
like
sounds.
yeah, accompanying video and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
mm.
So
Did you go see the play or whatever it was?
no, no.
You just got that
uh,
attendance credit, huh?
yeah, I got the Spark Notes version.
Oh, of the play. Okay, okay.
Yeah. um. Yeah. But yeah, honors college is a great place of learning. Make the most of
Oh,
your time there in the learning
oh,
institution. It's a tier one school. Oh my.
yeah. So there's this idea where like so I'm sure you and our viewers are well aware that like UT and I guess A&M and like UNT and I guess a couple of other universities, they're like considered like a little bit more top tier, a little more than tier one, right? Uh, and then at U of H, so it's interesting that you pitch it like that, right? It's because the honors college, um, not necessarily the students in it, but the vision behind it and the provost for the honors college and well, I guess the directors of the honors college, they take it a lot more seriously, right? They are very serious in the sense that they're like, we are a tier one like school, we can compete with UT in the sense of like average intelligence of our students, or you know, something kind of like petty and arbitrary like that. But the students within the college, like we are all like of a different mindset. We're like, it's kind of a joke. It's, you know, um, despite, you know, like all of the work and all of the things that they try and like provide. And it's interesting to really like see that, you know, like you strike me as like a good student, or at least someone who tries in their classes. But to hear you kind of talk about the honors college like that, it makes me realize that, yeah, I guess like maybe we as students don't have to take the honors college so seriously. It's, you know, I guess I said it too, is it's not really like impactful for you if you have if you're in the STEM majors. um it's not really impactful for you like professionally if you're in the STEM majors. And I guess um people are in the honors college generally for scholarship, generally for community and like friendship and like social activities, and like and then like a small proportion are there for like the modernity, the antiquity, the philosophy, you know.
Mhm.
um I guess I just never thought about it in the sense that like we all know that student, we all know that person who's like very serious into like their studies and very serious into whatever organizations they join. We all know that student and we all know that person. And if you think about it, like that's not a high proportion of like people that we know. You know, there's certainly people that are like career oriented, right? But not so serious as to like think of themselves in a superior way just because they're in the honors college, right? Just because they're taking harder classes or whatever. Um, so I guess that's an interesting like kind of juxtaposition, right? Because the honors college directors are like, you know, take this super seriously. You can't leave the GCF or you don't get attendance unless you stay the time. Then the students are like, yeah, I mean, it's I get money.
Well, to be fair on the GCF, like, I mean, let's be honest, it is really disrespectful, and for you, like when you said like, yeah, you do feel bad for the speaker because it's like the attendance sheet says like, I don't know, 300 and you see like 70 and you're like,
One,
okay.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, but like tier one, right? So tier like you know tier one like means we're like a tier one research.
Yeah.
Right?
It
So
designates like a research institution.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure honors does some research, but I'm not super like how much.
I'm
But I guess
actually
like or my interpretation of or understanding of what you said is like understanding tier one more as like instead of like what it actually maybe necessarily what it like actually means, but like in the terms of like taking it seriously and having like pride in your school and stuff.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it is really interesting. It's because I don't know if we've talked about like school choice that much. Maybe when I was a freshman, but like it's we've both been in college so long. Like I don't think we necessarily care about like where the colleges stack up. Like we're not gonna make a tier list.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I remember like my freshman year, or I guess even senior year in high school. It's like, yeah, my ideal landing spot is UT Austin. That's the place to be. Well, that's also largely a product of I guess the people around us, like pretty academic Asian Americans. I'm assuming that was the same or similar for you. And yeah, it's just like everyone else's goal is like the bar was UT, and then like oh A&M's like okay, yeah, that's good, and then like UH was like the super safety school,
It was
basically.
the school that you like. It was your backup.
Yeah, it was like the backup to your backup. Yeah. Um, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if you felt that um, all those years ago.
No, I definitely did. Like I remember all those years ago. How old are you?
I mean, this is your 6th year, sir.
Yeah. But man, when you say it like that.
My
Yeah.
bad.
No. No, I definitely felt so. I mean, UT. I agree with you. It was the bar. It was like, oh, everyone who is smart, I guess, is going to UT, and everyone who is not as smart but not dumb is going to A&M, and then everyone who didn't make either of them goes to UH. I mean, that was at least kind of, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. That was my thought process coming out of high school. And I was one of those students who were like, yeah, I'm in the honors college. I take college serious. I'm proud of being in the honors college. And I still am, but it's not something where I'm like, oh, you're at UT? Psh, I'm in the honors college.
I mean, UT has its own honors college too.
Right, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh my.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But like that wasn't me, For like incoming freshmen, I guess, if anyone watching this is an incoming freshman, um honestly, like this tier list of schools, it's mostly just bull crap, to be honest. um like people, the common consensus is that like engineering at A&M and UT is superior to UH. But Bea, she's got friends at like UT or A&M who are studying engineering, and they're working on material that is a lot simpler than like material that's than the curriculum at U of H. Um, and in fact, like a lot of U of H alums, they they get like there's quite a few U of H alums in like the oil industry. I mean, I guess you could say that for any school, but um, like we've Bay's got a lot of peers at Dow, which is where she's working, that were U of H alums, rather than like UT or A&M. And so in that sense, actually, you would expect that UT and A&M have like superior engineering programs, but that's simply not the case. And in fact, like,
Call them out. Yikes.
no offense to any, I'm not saying we're smarter just because our curriculum is harder. Hell, I'm struggling. I'm in my 6th year, you know? But the idea of like a tier list, the idea that some schools are like better than others, it's mostly irrelevant when you graduate, you know. Even if you're like at an Ivy League, I think, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of influence, but when you talk to recruiters, like again, they're not looking at honors college. They're not looking at UT Austin. They're not looking at A&M. They're looking at what have you done? What have you been involved in? And like, how are your studies going? I mean, is that not true, Young? Like you've talked to a lot of recruiters. You've like competed for a lot of internship slots against other people, against like people from other schools, you know, and you've gotten your internship
Mhm.
slots. So
Yeah, it's it's an interesting thing. So that's from like the STEM perspective. So so I'm
oh,
a business major. I never said that, but I think most people watching would know that already. And I mean, unfortunately, I well,
oh, there's a bit of a rank
there is some elements of like pres, uh,
prestige.
prestige and like uh, not is it I don't want what's the word? It's like and like connection simply by
Oh,
having the same alma mater uh,
mm,
that can get some people the job if they're like kind of tiptoeing between like two people. I mean,
that's fair. Okay.
like uh, you just think about like the A&M and like how a lot of people call them a cult. It's just like if you like people like their school spirit and like yeah college life like people can just relate on that and like talk
Mm,
about it for a
okay.
while and like their connection is very strong. Um, definitely like S tier in terms of like how much of an influence I think it can get.
Okay.
But like yeah, but like no, but like you still have to be able to provide the deliverables. Like
Mm,
they'll look at all the other stuff too, with like GPA extracurricular.
mm.
Um, but I don't know. Like another thing, like that's wrong. Well, we'll find out, right? We'll learn as we talk.
Yeah, when we
Um, um, I don't know if this is a difference. Maybe it's a similarity, but oftentimes, like the purpose of the interview and stuff is more to see if we can work together,
yeah, if you're a personality match.
the culture, and
Yeah.
like my understanding. Uh, well, by the hopefully no recruiter ever sees this. Yikes.
Put a
Um,
disclaimer first. Yeah. Yeah.
yikes. Um, my understanding is like they'll treat you almost as if you don't know anything, and they'll teach you everything from the ground up.
That's true. On the
Um,
training. Yeah.
yeah, it's like literally one of my friends told me her internship, like the first week was just training and reading and training. um, yeah, and they're kind of upfront about it. I don't know if it's as, I mean, blatant as like you don't have to know anything, and as long as you're like you can learn like quickly, then you're good.
Mhm.
But it almost seems, but yeah, I don't. But like it's for me, like my perception of like STEM is like there's a lot more technical understanding, and like I feel like there's at least some. There seems like a higher level of foundation
Hmm.
compared to business. There's definitely a foundation for business, um, but it just seems easier to understand
Hmm.
in my perspective. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like I've read somewhere that, the acquisition of a degree, whether it be a degree in STEM or a degree in business, whatever, what have you, that degree, like when you're searching for full time, that degree is not a testament to your technical abilities. It's a testament to can you learn. So I think I'm in agreement with when you say that like it's more about can you learn rather than what you already know, because they do like, I mean, they have to train you on the
Mm-hmm.
job. They have to give you like what to do, the basics, yada yada. That is not to say that like you should just slack off in your classes as long as you pass. That's not to say that. um I'm not well versed in like the interview process for business, but as far as STEM goes, I think you're right that there is like technical aspects of it. um there are technical aspects of these interviews, full-time or internship or co-op, um that will be a deal breaker if you're being compared to someone like else. Um, but that being said, like in my perspective, like the bar for that technical knowledge is it's not unattainable. It's not super high, you know. It's not like in the ground. You still have to know like basic principles and be able to apply them. But it's yeah, I guess you're saying that like for business, the like the technical knowledge, maybe the foundation doesn't need to be as rigorous. But I would say that also for STEM, the foundation doesn't have to be as rigorous as well, and that they do look at your other stuff. All of that to say that, like I wasn't aware that, like like I totally agree with you that um, having the same alma mater like will like unequivocally, right,
Uh-huh.
give you a leg up in an interview. I mean, that's how connection works. That's why you have to. That's why you have to get to know these people, get to know these professors, get to know these industry representatives. You know, that's why you have to get to know them, because having that sort of relationship with the recruiter, with HR, is certainly going to give you like a leg up. They're going to be like, well, I know this person, and like we can work together. It's it is like a personality fit into the company culture. I wasn't aware though that like U of H business like had like more of an impact, you know. Like going to U of H um, business had more of an impact in like the career, uh, well, job searching for career opportunities, you know, because like for STEM, yeah, like Bea, she's worked with someone from who had a degree from Princeton, you know, Princeton, which is Ivy League, and it's like, at least for STEM, it's as long as you can learn and as long as you can do it, then it doesn't quite matter what school you go to. But it's certainly like, if you are of the same alma mater, then that can help. But I think that's a bit different from saying like the reputation of like U of H versus the reputation or prestige of like UT, like a large impact on a job search. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, if you're from the
Yeah.
same, it'll definitely help. But like your choice of school, didn't really tip the scales that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I totally like see what you mean with the A&M cult.
Yeah. Yeah. Just gotta make the most of your situation. Oh, okay. All right.
So I guess to wrap up this honors college little section is that it doesn't really matter, right? If you join it or not, it just kind of depends on what you're looking for in your college experience. At least that's how I would approach if I were a freshman coming into college. Because you do have to pay like honors college fees, you know. And so it's up to you to decide whether those fees are worth what you can get from it.
That's true. Make sure you use all your printer paper.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's one of the most important benefits of the honors college.
Oh yeah, you get free staples too. Oh.
I mean, we joke about this, but like,
no,
I would be lying if I said I didn't use a lot of paper.
What am I thinking about? Shoot. Oh, yeah. I feel like one thing that might have really tipped the scales for me if I knew this before joining the honors college was just how rigorous and difficult human situations was going to be. We've kind of glossed over it. We kind of like memed it a little bit,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
in all seriousness, like this class is crazy.
The classes, yeah. Okay, well, let's dig into it a little bit. Human sit.
Sure.
Just because I didn't want to talk about it. I had something I wanted to say, but we just kind of never really came up. But like,
yeah.
human sit, yeah, it certainly is difficult. In the sense that you do have to read a lot, and if you BS your stuff, I mean, these professors, they can they can smell it out.
There's no Spark Notes.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing like work on texts that are like written in, they were written in like ancient Greek. So
yeah.
Good luck finding Spark Notes for that. I mean, you'll find maybe some Spark Notes for like the more modern stuff.
Yeah.
But, the thing that I want to focus on is like the lectures themselves. I actually really enjoyed the lectures. So in Human Sit, what happens, the way they run it is almost, I like to compare it to Hogwarts, actually. Hey, I think it's a pretty apt.
Yeah.
I think it's right. Okay, yeah. So,
I know who are the Slytherin teachers.
Oh man, Yes, more on that. um, the way that the structure of the honors college, especially human sit, is that um, you have your main professor who you turn your work into, who you have your small class with, but then all of the sections and all of the professors attend like a larger centralized lecture. Um, and the thing that I enjoy the most about that is that every, I guess, every uh, week or so, or every section, because like the purposes or the purpose of these large centralized lectures were to discuss the book, right? Discuss whatever you were currently reading. And so they, every different section, you would actually rotate to another professor who would lecture in these larger centralized lectures. And so that's actually what I really enjoyed, because you got to see like a lot of different lecturing styles, and you got to see a lot of different perspectives and views on the same work. And they would often build on top of one another, or they would engage, the professor's lectures would engage with lectures like before, whether it be disagreeing or agreeing or expanding upon, which I always thought was super interesting. And I had I would say I was fortunate enough to get the professor that, if we're talking about Hogwarts, she would have been a Hufflepuff. She was like, do you know Dr. Meyer? Dr. Myers, the lady?
I don't know.
She was like a hippy dippy, like really, really flowing, vibey professor. And I enjoyed her so much. My classmates may not, because she was also very rigorous in her grading. But I mean,
Yeah, no, like that is totally true. Um, yeah, their lectures are all very good for the most part. For the most part. I mean, I don't know if you ever listened to Gish, but it's not
I
fun
was just gonna say,
to listen to a professor read off his paper word for word, sort of fast. But I mean, he uploads his transcripts, but like, man,
yeah, yeah.
I wonder what happened to this man in his life. It's like,
What, to suck the joy out of everything he does? You think he's been in contact with any Dementors?
his soul, he's missing a little bit. Oh yikes! Okay.
Not to say
Um.
anything like he's a very competent professor.
Yeah. No, he's very good, very smart.
Mm.
Head of the phronesis uh, degree. I don't even know what that means. Is it politics?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I had the misfortune of having him as a professor.
Oh no.
Uh, goodness. I don't know. It's like I'm already pretty shy and timid, and like having him um, as a professor, where sometimes he'll just flat out say, "You have a wrong opinion." I've heard enough. It's a little nerve wracking every single time going to class. I will not say. I will say. I will. um, yeah,
I've heard that he is. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I do not recall those days fondly. Um, I was gonna say stuff about the finals, but you can go
Oh,
first.
oh well. I was just gonna add on to Gish. Like, for anyone thinking about joining the honors college, I've heard that Dr. Gish, he is one of the more intimidating professors, and I mean Jonathan has firsthand account of that. Um, that being said, difficult as he may be, I mean, part of the human experience is suffering together. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's very. I may make a joke here. It's very anti-Buddhist. We got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like your professor Meyer, like he grades very hard too. But like, I don't know. That was kind of weird. Like, they would never like fail you. They would just. Oh, hello. Are we good? Okay,
You're
we're
frozen.
back.
Okay. Are we back?
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, yikes. All right. I don't know if I talked about it with you, but definitely with like other honors people. It's like they don't necessarily want people to fail because they need students to keep coming in. They need to get the money, and like for those like the faint of heart, like they'll quit within the first month and drop out of the honors college.
That's
It's
awesome.
it is pretty rigorous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, what I wanted to say, like our finals, or I guess we could talk about how grades worked. Let me see. It was like the lecture with the big hall with everybody, and having your specific professor. Well, it's not really a lecture; it's more like a discussion group. Those were considered, or those are considered two different classes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so, like, with your specific discussion group, you write papers. Like everyone writes a paper. Done. That's the class. But like the professor can have their own unique flares on it. They can do pop quizzes. They can do like parts of a paper, like just a thesis assignments, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think, yeah, wait, the oral finals for the lecture class, right?
It was for the
For the big lecture class.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, like the big lecture class, like there's not many grades in that class. I think attendance is part of it. There's one midterm,
And
and
then
then and then there's the oral final, baby.
oh yeah.
I think right for you it was always a one-on-one, right, with a professor.
Did they change it for
Yeah, they
your
changed it during my year. No,
oh,
I had one-on-one in the
mm.
beginning in my fall, and then they changed it to 3 students, 1 professor.
Huh.
My spring.
Huh.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
changed
So yeah, to speak more about this, like this is the oral final. It means you just talk with your professor. Don't get intimidated by that. But yeah, they can ask you anything about
about any of the
anything
books.
you've read. um, and like Martin mentioned earlier, they can smell BS. And like and then they might just I don't know. They might I
They'll
think they have
grill
a
you.
bit yeah. I was like, maybe some of them have more hearts, but like
Oh my.
like I've mentioned I had Professor Gish. So I heard that somebody in my fall semester. Oh, okay, yeah. So something else to mention. The professor you're with cannot be your discussion professor
Yeah.
for your oral final. So I could have Professor Meyer, but I can't have Professor Gish under whatever all circumstances. So I was like, that was like the one silver lining Like I don't have to play the Russian roulette of like, oh,
Yeah.
do I have to talk to this man for like
Yeah.
minutes? um, yeah. So uh, the story with him was he made this girl cry. Just kind of like destroyed her. That's not funny, but like I was like, oh
This was
well,
this was wait, Professor who?
Gish, Gish.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I never spoke to the person who did it, but like I think we can both agree like it's not hard to believe.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Oh man.
I can't imagine like going into an oral final, right? Being so stressed out about all of the things you have to like be able to talk about. And then you say something and then Dr. Gish is like, that's a wrong opinion. I can't imagine that. That is horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
then what do
yeah.
you say, right?
Yeah. Like
You just all right, well, I
well,
guess it's wrong.
yeah. Just don't have a wrong opinion.
Just don't have a
Yeah. I forgot you had to write that like 1 page mini paper thing as your
yeah,
like
yeah,
starting point to talk about with that in the oral. But yeah.
yeah.
And then like they changed it to 3 people. And I think they said it was like for scheduling issues.
Okay, I can
Which
see
I
that.
mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like I can't imagine. And like, oh, man, their system, it felt so rudimentary. You just kind of like, you were like, I would like to have this time, and then was it the TAs?
They
Oh
would try to
gosh,
like schedule.
yeah, people. It's
So
just
you're
like,
jumping through like a hoop to get like a possible time slot with the professor.
yeah,
And so the audience like is so how big is the honors college? You were talking about they used to be one-on-ones, these oral finals, one-on-one in the sense that one student to one professor. Now they did like three, but like still having to go through a TA to get a time slot. Now imagine like that TA having to schedule X amount of students, right? The entire honors college. Well, not the entire, but like the entire human sit cohort, you know, or it's
yeah,
like 12 professors. Yeah, it's a very yeah, it was a very
yeah,
bare bones um, thing.
yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, so doing that final with 3 people, it was just like, it just feels like a talking competition.
Like who can impress the guy the most, or who can talk.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just an extra element that you don't want to
Yeah, yeah.
like one person could easily dominate. I mean, and that like tends to happen, I
Mhm.
think, generally. Um, and like the professor like will give some like discretion to like okay, it's like you've talked enough and stuff, but like yeah, you you really have to
You have to like compete.
almost fight with them to
Yeah, yeah.
talk. Yeah,
So
but
can I ask you this?
yeah,
When they did the three students, like for one professor, because I only had the one-on-ones. Was it three
mhm.
students? Was it students in your classes or like just random like other students?
Yeah, it's random other students.
Right.
I never talk to these people ever. Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So three. Papo.
Random
I don't know.
paper.
Yeah, I don't know how great of a job we really did talking about all of this. It's not the most orderly, but hopefully you have a better idea of what the honors college is like.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could recap. The honors college, um, there will be like the difficult human sit class. But it's like don't let that like be a reason not to do the honors college because there's
Oh,
still. Oh
sorry.
wait.
I that was the point.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, misunderstood.
no, I no, you're fine. I just forgot about this, and you saying all that reminded me of it.
Mm-mm.
Like, unless you really know how to please your professor, or you write like amazing, um, you're probably gonna get a B. Or like that's
Yeah.
just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Um, like you just gotta be okay with that.
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's with the discussion class. The lecture class, like I think you have a higher chance of getting an A
Mm.
because the midterm's not difficult if you if you are a good student like and you read everything like it should be fine for you. Orals. Oh, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say like a caveat to that though is you do have to read a lot. So reading everything
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to read.
yeah.
Humans that they go through like several books within a semester. I think two or three. If I remember correctly,
What?
two or three books, right?
A semester? It was like five, six, seven.
Oh, well.
Like I don't have a big library of books, so it's like it's expanded. I like it's quite a few.
No, you're right. I misremembered. But some
Yeah.
of those like five, six, or seven books, some are short and some are long, and some you don't read all the way through, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you still do have to read a lot. So that's the caveat to what Jonathan was saying. Is like if you're considering humans, right? The discussion, you're likely to get a B just because. But the midterm, like as long as you read, uh, then you should be fine, right? And then what were you gonna say about the like the finals?
Oh, the oral one is just that one. You you should be able to do well. I didn't, but
Oh no.
I think I'm just deficient at talking to people and comprehension sometimes. But yeah, it definitely like I mean I don't mind saying like what I got like in my lecture class I got an A minus and I was like oh wow I did not expect that but I got a B in the discussion. It's like
Yeah.
yeah so basically it's like you should be prepared to work really, really hard to get a B.
Yeah.
Is like,
Um.
yeah.
Yeah. That's something like if any incoming freshmen are considering for the honors college, I think that is something that you'll have to really juggle because if like human sit is a freshman level class, you don't really have any prior classes that would prepare you for kind of the amount of work. I guess unless you worked incredibly hard in like high school, but even then, like I don't imagine that you've read like five to seven books in a semester. I've had to write like every week. Um, so big caveat. So that those are one of the considerations, I guess, when thinking about the honors college. Um, would you do it again if you redid college, Jonathan? Would you do honors college again?
Would I do it again? Yeah, it's a difficult question. Hindsight's always
2020.
2020. Um, but like seeing, I guess also where how I've ended up, like it hasn't like destroyed my academic career. Like I make it seem like the end of the world.
Yeah, you
Um,
really do.
but I don't know. That's also like I think the Asian American
Mm,
perfectionism of that 4.0.
you're Asian,
Uh,
you're Asian, right?
yeah. But I would do it again. I would do it again. Um, I don't know if I was my high school senior self and I knew I was going to like, get a B if I would have
Mm,
done it.
mm,
Um, but living through that, having all those experiences, reading those books, hearing the lectures, um, yeah, I've been exposed to a lot of ways of thinking that I never would have even thought of cracking open um, if I hadn't taken this class, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you? I feel like I
I
know.
definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, I think you could tell. I mean, I definitely really enjoyed my experience in the honors college. The hard work is one thing, sure. But no, you're exactly right. The experiences, especially the new ways of thinking, um, it's like, yeah, that's not something that you'll be able to get in your core classes, um, in your major classes. Is these different ways to approach thinking, um, these different ways to perceive something. Uh, yeah, I think that's invaluable, honestly.
Sure.
And I mean, the community also helps.
Yeah, it's good. Join their dodgeball team.
Oh, there's a
Wait, you didn't know this?
oh.
Wait, how do I know this, but you don't know
Oh.
this? They're like,
Are they pretty good?
I think so. Like, it's to the point where like people are like pretty avidly talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, let's do it
Oh,
and stuff.
how about that?
Um, yeah, I can't say how good they are,
Hmm.
but there's enough spirit that it's like the most popular intramural for them.
That's awesome, actually. I love that. You know, you wouldn't think like a bunch of like
Nerds.
yeah, yeah. I was trying to be polite. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's a diverse group of people. Like,
No, really.
there's athletes in there.
Oh, really?
Um, I will say they have varying levels of
Uh-huh. Go
brain
ahead.
cells. Uh, I'm sorry. Am
You
I?
better.
Yikes.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's another caveat about the honors college, that it's not, you know, the people in there, I guess we've alluded to it. They're not like the 100% high achievers, like super academic people all the time. You know, certainly there's probably a bigger proportion of that type of student within the honors college. But I mean, these are just people like anybody else, like who thought it might be interesting to challenge themselves or whatever, you know. So you do have like a pretty diverse range of people in the honors college, and honestly, that's probably for the better. Like, imagine if everyone in the honors college is super cutthroat, very like high achieving, and it would just be unbearable, that sort of community, that sort of environment. And then they would get wrecked in dodgeball, which I wouldn't mind.
Wow, that sounds like high school all over again.
A little bit, right? Wow. Okay. Oh, for those of you coming into like college from high school, like, college is a lot better about like cliques and like bullies and like if you run into them, I mean, you have an option to not like hang out bullies and like cliques and like kind of toxic people. Whereas in high school, I mean, you had to spend hours of a day like in the same room with them or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Give them that glimmer of hope. I don't know. I mean, like, well, actually, to be contextual, I don't think they'll see anybody in person.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay, you're right.
Just turn off your Wi-Fi if you're getting cyberbullied. I don't know.
No, that's fair. Interesting. So I guess this would actually be the first time that honors college would be like online, and discussions would be online, and lecture would be online. So, ooh, yeah, the pandemic really has changed like the course structure for a lot of like these classes, and some of these classes just don't work like via online. So, so with that being said, anyone listening to our talk about the honors college, be prepared for it to be completely different from how we've
That
described
is true. Oh my goodness. You're right.
Yeah. Like that whole thing about us, I was talking about community and meeting with people, that's probably gone now. So
That is. But you know what will probably still be there? Skipping out on GCFs, baby. Just leave your Zoom screen on and then go do something. I'm terrible. It's okay. You don't have to worry about me doing it. I forgot to apply to the honors scholarship.
Oh, Jonathan.
Although I'm only gonna be here another semester.
One more year, so yeah.
Oh, okay. That was fun.
Yeah, I think we're reaching the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for talking.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
Did I? No, I hated it. Yeah, we're going back to not being friends.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Jonathan is one of the bullies.
Ah, yes. That is true. If the bully tells you they're a bully, why would you not? Oh wow. Well, we should make that should be the thumbnail. I should be like bullying you. I don't know what I would do. What am I doing? Am I gonna punch you?
You could pretend, like, you can have like and I'll be like,
okay. I mean, it doesn't matter how you do your face, like, or when you do your face. I have to layer them anyways.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can you do the face again? Okay, let me see.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna be smiling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a solid thumbnail.
Cool.
One of those clickbaity thumbnails.
Yeah, that's the only way you get views. It's not the quality of your content. No.
It's a big title and a clickbaity image.
Yeah. Perfect. You already know the name of the game. Oh man, that's cool. Well, we never really talked about too much Asian American stuff, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, you know, we can save it for if you want me on your guest, like if you want me on your podcast.
Yeah, we'll save it for hopefully whenever I get gear, and then I can come over. We can have dinner here. Wait. Oh.
Yeah.
It came over quite staticky. What'd you say?
Oh, hey, that'd be cool.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, hey, that could be cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, okay, well, let me. Okay, I don't. Oh, I guess I'm still recording.
Thanks.
Well, if you're still watching this, thanks for listening and watching. Bye.